spring practice starts very, very soon. You know, obviously the most talked about battle is going to be Carson Beck versus Brock Vandegrift versus Gunnar Stockton. That's going to be the most. I'm interested to see how they handle that, the rotations, things like that, right? Like, do you think it's going to be like Carson Beck, your QB1 today, Gunnar, your QB1 today, Brock, your QB1 today, and they just kind of go through it and let everybody work with each unit, just kind of see where they're at? Like, how do you manage that?
I think, you know, kind of like what we did this season with our quarterbacks. We had 3 guys that were fighting for, you know, all summer long, even, you know, through the first scrimmage. So they all got equal reps. There was no QB1, you know, whether you were the first guy to go out there or the last one to go, you know, everybody had an equal chance, you know, and even through practice throughout the whole season, each one got the same amount of reps with the first team. So especially during spring right now, I think you just see which one, you know, has the better days, you know, and you rechart it the whole entire time, which I'm sure they'll do at Georgia right now. So I think right now the first one to go out is obviously Carson Beck, but each one will have their opportunities. I think you kind of script it to where you kind of know what you want to see from whatever quarterback is in the rotation at the time, and then you just kind of mix it up. You know, if whatever script is number 1 through, let's say you got 18 plays, right? So the next day you kind of switch it. So that last set will go to the top, and then you kind of see what Beck's got and so on and so forth. And then you just keep rotating the plays through. So each one gets kind of, you know, what you want to look for. But right now, I think Beck's, and
so I think them into bad situations.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You know, you because I know in college, you know, in high school, you know, we really don't do it as far as, you know, give the defense a script, especially in scrimmage situations. But in college, you do. So you script them against, this is the worst look that you're going to get. Let's see how you handle it, you know, because on Saturday, it could be the exact same thing. So I think Beck's, you know, he's the front runner right now, obviously. You've seen it all on Twitter and things like that. So I really think it is his job to lose, you know, coming in as the senior, you know, as they would say. But, you know, he's got 2 hungry guys right behind him. So there's no time to look back, you know, at this point, you know, kind of like Stetson's situation. You know, you don't look back, you know, next thing you know, you're getting passed by another guy. So it's going to be interesting how they handle it. You know, I think that's how you do it. You know, our guys, you know, they got along, you know, they competed every day. Our starter, you know, came in, we won a state championship with him, but he knew every day there was 2 behind him, you know, that we were going to put in if he couldn't get the job done. So I think you just let him know, if you don't get the job done, one of these guys is going in, you know, and that keeps him hungry, keeps him humble, and, you know, and you know, keeps that train rolling.
Yeah, no doubt. So like, so when you're evaluating, so you got your script, you got your 18 plays, and you got your 6 for Carson, 6 for Gunnar, 6 for Brock in whatever order. And you kind of shift the script around just to kind of see what are you looking at? What is the main thing? What is the main thing you think Coach Bobo's looking at? You've played for him. You kind of know a little bit more inside of his brain than most of us listening. What do you think Coach Bobo's looking for? What's the first thing that he sees that's going to say, okay, this is the difference between Brock, Gunnar, and Carson?
Just the first thing I'm looking for, does he understand the offense? Does he know what to do, how to do it? Can he check us in and out of bad situations? Second thing I'm looking at, you know, progression wise, you know, can he throw the ball? Can he complete the pass? Number one, can you just throw a smoke screen out there and complete the pass? You know, that's one of the fundamental things of playing quarterback. Can you just throw the ball to the receiver? And then the last thing you look for is chemistry. You know, which one do the receivers tend to like? Because they'll let you know. You know, everything's being graded. You know, from one-on-ones, from routes on there to one-on-ones. You know, to Skelly to team, everything's kind of being graded. You know, in between that time. So I'm pretty sure Bobo's kind of has an idea of how he's going to do everything. But if it's me, you know, which I kind of moniker, you know, how we do things. You know, kind of how I learned it from Georgia. With Coach Bobo is, you know, those are things you look for. You know, can he get it? Can he get the play? Does he know the play? Can he get us out of bad situations? You know, can he complete the pass? You know, things like that. What's his reads and things like that. So it's going to be an interesting deal right now because, I mean, we've had starting quarterback for the last 2 years. You know, we have 2 national championships. And, you know, that pressure is going to be huge on whoever, earns that starting job. So, and that's one thing too, that I didn't mention, after coming off 2 national championships, who's going to be the guy to handle the pressure? Because, the pressure now is, can you win another one?
Yeah.
Can you get back to the championship game? Not necessarily win, but can you get back to it to give yourself a chance to win? So
get to the playoff. That's the first step.
It is definitely going to be interesting to see how this thing falls out. But I did see, that Ra Thomas's situation kind of got handled. Hopefully he flies straight and does what he's supposed to do. And, we got a weapon back in him. You really don't know what's going to happen when the season starts, but we'll have him for spring now, looks like. So, you definitely have some weapons. You got big number 19 and 84 still here to do some things. You got Arian Smith, who's still here to do some things for you, too. So the skill position, absolutely.
Too. Yeah.
And, there's not a lack of talent on the outside to where we're like, oh, crap, what are we going to do? We got new skill guys. We got a new quarterback, things like that. But that's not it on the outside.
19's there. That's a really, really good safety net.
Yeah. You got Delk still here, too. You got a plethora of guys who you can get the ball to. So it is going to be Branson in the backfield. I think Edwards still has another year left, him and Kendall. So, it's on you, big dog. It is definitely on you.
Yeah, so I'm excited. Flipping over to the defensive side of the ball, I guess I'm most curious about what's going to be the next step for our edge guys. Nolan Smith. I'm really excited about Mykel Williams. We got a couple minutes left here, but I'm really excited about Mykel Williams. I think he's going to take a huge, huge leap this season. I mentioned the Ruffino and Joe show. I had a little blurb about him. They were talking about him, and I said I responded with he's got some Nolan Smith tendencies to him, which is a very, very good thing. He's so explosive off the edge. That one sack that he had against CJ Stroud, probably in the best situation he could have had one, because they were starting to drive and they were starting to get a little momentum. He gets free, knocks him back out of field goal range, and they have to punt. This was, I think, early second half. And so he's kind of like that fire starter for I think he's going to be that fire starter for our defense while our defensive line gets back in order, while our inside linebackers are busy stopping the run and pursuing Smell Munden, being another guy that I'm super excited about the closing speed that guy has. Oh my God. I think the linebacking core on that defense is really going to kind of help not only in front of them, they're going to help behind them too, because Mykel's going to get pressure, force some quarterbacks into bad throws. Munden is going to be a force in the run game. Jamon Dumas-Johnson, I don't know what the heck's going on with him. That I'm not excited about that because he's had so much legal trouble. I don't know. I don't. He's got to stop watching Fast and the Furious or something. I don't know. I don't know what the scenario is, but Munden and Mykel Williams, I think are going to be two names you hear over and over and over again. I look forward to them having a really good spring on the defensive side.
Oh, yeah. You bring up Dumas Johnson. I think, once we get into April, once we get into spring ball, and the coaches finally have their hands on them. We've been at Georgia during, the off season. So we kind of know what happens during the off season.
We all know.
Once you kind of get back into things, a lot of that to kind of take care of itself. So I'm looking for him to bounce back, stay out of trouble and have a great season. Smell Munden is an absolute dog. Mykel Williams, absolute dog. Stackhouse and Bear Alexander gonna man, the inside.
I'm excited about Stackhouse.
I'm looking forward to Chambliss, who kind of stepped up in Nolan Smith's absence, taking care of that outside linebacker defensive end type role. Looking for him to, have a more expanded role this season. Just depends on how it shakes in the secondary. You got Bullard back, Kamari Lassiter's man on the other side. So now you need somebody to step up and play that other corner spot. So it's going to be interesting to see, I'm pretty sure they've been gelling because all of us played. All of them done a phenomenal job on that side of the ball. When you got a phenomenal defensive staff that you have over there, especially with Kirby kind of leading the charge. That's one side of the ball that I'm not worried about. We've lost so much, to the draft, and again this year to the draft or to the transfer portal. We don't seem to skip a beat, especially on that side of the ball. So, and it helps when your coordinators are there. They're still here and they're back. So I think they're just gonna fit the pieces to the puzzle and let those guys, go out and play ball. That's one thing we have done. Schematically, we just let them go out and play ball. Whether we blitz. Whether we kind of sit back, it's just more so let's play plays and let these guys go play ball, play with the hair on fire.
Yeah, no doubt, man. And I think the biggest piece is going to be that communication between them. I think last year at times, because they were a fairly new unit, not like fairly new players because they all played significant reps the year before. But when you get people in for the first time as a unit, you're going to have some of those growing pains. And a lot of it is just due to communication. Like a lot of deep routes we got beat on were coverage breakdowns because I thought I had help. I didn't.
Yep.
The safety thought we were in a different coverage, or they maybe they maybe saw a read wrong, or, just something along those lines where one guy gets out of position, and we play such an aggressive style of defense that one guy gets out of position, it creates a giant opening. And it looks like, cue the Benny Hill music because we don't know how to play defense when really it's just one or two guys that just aren't in sync for that one play. And then we get beat. But then they go out and they fix it and they figure it out and all is well, obviously, because we didn't lose a single game last year. So, I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to seeing improved communication. I think this defense can be scary good when they figure out the defensive line rotation, where everybody fits in what situations, and schematically, how can we use our defensive linemen to the best of our ability. Stackhouse is going to be a dog. Bear Alexander is going to be a dog. Those two guys you just got to figure out who plays the nose, who plays the strong four. When we go to 4-man front, who bumps down? Who's the one? Who's the three? Do you go double ones? Do you go double threes? Like, there's some things that you need to figure out with those guys, and that comes in all due time. That's not like a major concern. I'm not like, oh, I don't know what we're gonna do. We got it's just like it's a great problem to have. You got like five guys that can start on any team in the conference, and you're trying to figure out how to best use them. Sign me up for that problem, right?
Absolutely. Because, one thing about defense is totally different from offense. On defense, a lot of guys play. So now it's just to the point to where, all right, you played a lot last year. Now you got a more expanded role. That's the great thing about defense. Really. Everybody's going to play pretty much. Everybody's going to be a rotational guy here and there. But now your role is now expanded to now you're a starter. So we do a great job of developing guys. Obviously, our track record is proven, even though people thought that, Coach Smart doesn't develop plays, but that's neither here nor there. But one thing about it, defense side of the ball, I ain't worried about that. We're going to go out there and knock the hell out of people. That's what we're going to do. It's just like you said, just communication, especially for the back end guys. And that's really it. Our safeties come up and hit. Bullard, was a blitzing machine.
Michael
Tennessee game,
great as a freshman.
He single-handedly won the Tennessee game by himself. Stark had a phenomenal season as well coming in as a freshman. Yeah. So just anybody who wants to know, if you're a freshman and you play defense, and if you're a dog, you are going to play as a freshman. So if you don't play, that's your fault.
Yeah. So, well, we're going to leave it there because we're going to have plenty to talk about with these practice reports here in the very near future. We've got Ryan Roberts or possibly Joe DeLeon on the horizon. We just got to get the schedules worked out here. We'll talk more combine and kind of where they project these guys to fall in the draft. And then I'd love to have them back on after the draft to see kind of where we were right, where we were slightly wrong, slightly off, or if we were way off on somebody. I'd like to kind of contrast that because I know we're going to be way off on at least two of them. So, yeah, Samsonite. I was way off. So it's going to be like that scene from Dumb and Dumber. But we're going to get out of here. We're going to go enjoy the weekend. And but until then, we hope you have a solid weekend. If you're like me and going on spring break, I'm going to get some much needed rest from the place that's in my background here. And we are going to come back at you here next week, hopefully with some more great content. But until then, we are the Believe in Georgia Dogs podcast presented by betonline.ag and the Row One brand. We will see you back here next week. But until then, go Dogs.
Go Dogs.